workshop today is entitled Old Readers and the New Teaching Methods. Old Readers and the New Teaching Methods. Now I would like to ask you, which of the following techniques do you practice when teaching the reader? We have 6 techniques here. Which one do you practice while teaching the reader? Technique number 1 is I make one of the students stand up and read aloud. The rest of the class listens. This is technique number 1. I make one of the students stand up and read aloud. The rest of the class listens. Listens or listen. Both of them are right. This is technique number 1. What about the second technique? The second one is I read aloud and translate each part of the reading. I read aloud and translate each part of the reading. This is technique number 2. Try to write down these techniques, not to forget them. This is the second technique. And I have said we have 6 techniques. The next one is, or technique number 3. I always keep the students on their toes, and any student could be asked to complete what I am talking about. This is technique number 3. I always keep the students on their toes. Any student could be asked to complete what I am talking about. What about the fourth one, or technique number 4? Technique number 4 is I ask students to read the chapter before they come to class, and I only highlight important points. You highlight only important points in this or that chapter. This is technique number 4. Do you remember them well? Okay. What about technique number 5? Technique number 5 is my students read the whole thing as homework, and we spend the period working out only exam questions. You highlight only exam questions. This is technique number 5. The last technique is the reader is just a short story where learners have to learn content by heart, so story incidents are my first priority. My first priority. This is the last technique, or technique number 6. Which of these techniques do you practice while teaching the reader inside your classrooms? Yes, Mr. Amir. First of all, I'll give you 5 minutes to decide on which technique do you practice when teaching the reader. You have 5 minutes to discuss the answer into groups. I think time is over now. Yes, Mr. Ahmed?
Yes, I think the 6 types of techniques have advantages and disadvantages. But the most fruitful one, I think, the fourth technique.
The fourth one.
The fourth one.
What is it?
To give the students time, or I ask the students to prepare the chapter beforehand, to have a general idea and become to the class with some point of view. In the class, we discuss what they have under scope. By discussing most of the students, we can cover the chapter. Here, the students is independent. He is only on the teacher, but he may depend on himself to get information as he understand. In the class, we can conform or can we change his idea or make stress on the point idea. By discussing the whole class, we can form the general idea of the chapter. This technique is suitable to the reader short stories or the reader we study in first, second year or third year. I think the fourth technique is the best one.
Thank you, sir. Thanks so much. Who else? Do you have any other thought, idea? Women group, what about you? You agree with Mr. Amir? So do you admire the fourth technique? Okay. What about you? Mr. Khalid?
I agree with him in choosing the number 4, but I can't leave the students to read the whole chapter. We can appoint a task for the students to prepare. For example, we can ask them some questions to read the chapter and find their answer, or I can ask them to form questions about what they are going to read at home. And when they come to the class, they can ask their questions and we can create an atmosphere of discussion like this. But number 4 is the best.
Okay. Do you have another addition?
I don't teach the reader because I am in a commercial school. But when we talk about these steps or these methods, the teacher may have amalgamation among these all methods. He may use more than one in one period. Because the teacher sometimes wants to verify himself in class, in his teaching. Sometimes he may write some questions on board and ask students, for the next time we are going to answer this question by reading the chapter 1 or chapter 2. Other time, he may ask students to read with analysis, intensive reading. In class, one of the students read aloud part of the story or part of the chapter, a paragraph or two, to snatch the main idea. Then he may also emphasize some characters concerning the chapter and ask the student to talk about them and the events inside this chapter. And make the teacher use more than one method in one period.
Okay.
This is for myself.
If you ask me, yes, Mr. Amir?
Here, I'd like to add something. I can choose the best technique according to the aim I am going to achieve. First, I should decide on the aim. What's the goal I'd like to achieve by studying chapter or paragraph or the passage or so on. If I'd like to learn the students how to listen carefully, so I ask someone to read as others to listen. If I'd like to measure how students can read loudly, I'd like to overcome the shyness for some students. I ask someone to read as others listen. What's the criteria I am going to measure? According to the goal, I can define which technique I am going to do. So I can say that is the best one, that is the worst one. But what's the aim I am going to achieve? What's the best technique I am going to use so as to achieve my goal? Maybe number 1 is better than number 2. Technique number 1 is better than number 2 according to the aim, the goal I'd like to achieve.
So this means that you have different goals in teaching the reader.
If it's only for the reader, so I can choose number 4 as I said before.
So what is the main objective of teaching the reader?
Yes. Also there is some objective I'd like to achieve. For example, here I'd like to concentrate, stress on certain point, satisfactions, moral lesson, scanning or skimming reading. According to that, to the aim of the chapter, I can choose the story.
So each chapter has its own objective.
Yes, okay.
And you are the one who decides which objective to take in during this chapter.
Which one can help me to achieve my aim.
Do you agree with Mr. Ahmed?
Yes, Mr. Khalid.
Yes, I think objectives for the reader is for the pleasure
for pleasure, amusement, and
learning.
yes,
Learning and using some new words.
so I think it's a static objective. It's static. So you cannot differentiate objectives from one chapter to the second. So this means that you disagree with Mr. Ahmed, and I also disagree with him. Yes, Mr. Ahmed.
The aim of the story is to acquire the language, to help the students to express about their ideas, what they think, to speak the language, to use the language.
To create an independent reader.
Yes,
The
that's
main
it.
objective is
To understand
to
what
create an
it is.
independent reader.
And to reflect it,
Yes.
using his own words. It is the aim of the
To
story.
read alone without the help of the teacher, without the help of the dictionary, and so on.
So
This is the main objective.
So what is the main role of the teacher
Ye-
in teaching the reader?
Yes, to help, to guide, to give them the main ideas, to plan for them how to prepare the novel at home, how to depend on themselves,
Yes.
and to follow up this.
That's enough in this point. I think that all these techniques are all unsuitable to be practiced into our classroom. Why? It is coming soon. Effective teaching of readers entails or involves, what about the first stage? Mr. Fleming?
First of all, if I have a reader or a short story, first I should decide for my students what is the title of the reader of the point of the chapter I'm going to talk about. يبقى first identify the topic to guide them. What are we going to read about, or what we are going to read about? This is number one. Number two, I have to be the guide for my students, as some more questions as before reading or pre-reading questions. This is number two. Number three, after discussing the questions,
I think pre-reading question should be number one.
okay, but what about the title? What about the topic I'm going to talk about? I should discuss with my students the area or the topic that we are going. Is it a place? Is it about a person? Is it about a time to talk about? I should identify the topic itself.
Okay.
Then bring questions to guide them for their reading. Number three, the main point is that the discussion itself. To talk about events, to talk about characters in the story, or the minor points hidden inside the story. ممكن بعد كده we have their students summarizing all the events they read about. This for myself.
Thank you. Mr. Khalid?
Yes, we should begin with pre-reading the questions. And after that, we can discuss the student's answer and expand to contain or to include the other details of the story.
Okay.